Speaker, I think that it's quite clear that that man's party doesn't really want him, and I'd like to suggest that he take up. I think it would be far better for him to take up meditation, because it would give him something to do in opposition. But not only is Labor's leadership in dire straits, and it's also in my electorate in the Wairarapa. Here's the headline: Labor looks far and wide for Wairarapa candidate. Can I go on and read a little section from this article? The priority was built. This is from the 68-year-old educationalist who's leading the party in the Wairarapa. The priority was building a strong party organisation and reviving branches previously disbanded. The Labor Party is in complete disarray, not only here in Parliament, but also right through this country. Why is it in disarray? I can tell you why. Because when this government came in, it inherited an economy that was in terrible shape. Why was it in terrible shape? Because at that point, New Zealand had been in recession under Labor's administration for at least a year, and probably 3 or 4 years. To put that into context, the tradable sector in New Zealand's economy had been in recession for the last 5 years. And let me show the members over this side of the House this graph. GDP here, years this way, the gap between the red line and the white line is government spending on the top line and the tradable sector coming down. Huge gap. That's why you went, that's why you're in disarray, and that's why you're going to stay there. What you've done is you have fueled New Zealand's debt to the world. And can I show you good people in the gallery? See this line going down here?
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Well, Mr. Speaker, speaking from an unusual position, I was about to leave the House, if that's not out of order to say so, sir. But that was grossly offensive as far as you're concerned, Mr. Speaker, saying that you're gone, you're going, why you're not coming back. I think it's, sir, this member has now been here, I think, for about a year.
Order.
And he
Order. I think we've
heard
sufficient now. I just would remind John Hayes, please, not to refer... No, I'm on my feet. Cool. Not to refer to the Speaker when because I can assure him the Speaker is not in disarray. Point of order,
Chairman,
Paul Quinn.
Mr. Speaker, the rules are quite clear. People are only able to speak from seats allocated to their party.
Order.
Allocated to the party.
Order. I think... I'm unaware of members being able to speak only from particular seats. I stand to be corrected, but a point of order was raised, and I think it was a fair point of order. John Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. So what we need in this country is a far better performing economy. We've got to encourage savings, we've got to encourage investment, and we've got to encourage exports, particularly from electorates like mine. We've got to reduce consumption. Why do we have to reduce consumption? Let me tell you what the Labor Party did when it was in office. It doubled the amount of aid that we're giving away to foreign countries, but at the same time it took its staff employed in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aid from 250 to 500. What did it do? It increased government salaries of those earning $100,000 or more by 375%. There are four things that we've got to do to take this country forward. The first thing is our policies have to be fair, and the second one is we've got to give families choice so they can get ahead, and the third one is whatever we do has got to be good for the economy, and it's got to help imbalances, and we've got to create jobs, and we've got to spread money around everywhere, and because if we don't, we're going to... Yeah, we've got to spend money everywhere, because what we're doing is we're locking up money in the welfare system and we keep paying it to people who don't necessarily need it. I am sick and tired of having people come through my office who are long-term beneficiaries, who are perfectly able to get out and get jobs, and they've had no incentive to do it. So I commend my colleague Paula Bennett for her... Yes, I do tell them that, and I absolutely commend my colleague Paula Bennett for the brilliant decision she's taken this week to start to modify the welfare payment. Because what you've got to understand is every dollar you give away has got to have come from somebody's pocket. When government gives money to somebody, it has to take it from somebody. Much of that money is coming from people paying $12.50 to $15 an hour. And so I absolutely support those policies. I would also say to the people that create hysteria over mining, there is no decision from the government to get into the dock estate and to mine. What there is on the table is a discussion paper. Those of us old enough to remember the Department of Lands and Survey will know that it got closed down. Much of its land got given to dock. That land had no conservation value whatever. In my own electorate, south of Mount Bruce, there are 341 parcels of land with dock that have no conservation whatever. What I'm very interested to see is much greater emphasis in mining, because off the coast of the Wairarapa we have a huge volume of carbon hydrate which can be harvested, brought ashore and used to set up a carbon-based hydrocarbon industry. Mr. Speaker, this government has taken the edges off the recession in 2009. In 2010 it's focusing on jobs and growth. It's made multi-billion-dollar infrastructural investments, as you see them on the Rimutaka Hill Road and on just about every road in this country. Everybody notices the amount of work that's going on. We're cutting red tape and regulation. We're making better business, innovation and trade. We're improving education and skills because we do not want all these children leaving. Mr. Chairman, I'm very proud of this.
The Honourable George Hawkins.
Mr. Speaker.